Hi, I'm Zealand Turner. I'm the Director of School Communications here at the Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School. I'm sitting in the Winging It studio with our brand new Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Karla Johnson. Hello, Dr. Johnson.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And this is Winging It.
Hello, my name is Dr. Karla Johnson. I am the CEO, the proud CEO of the Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School.
Let's go back to the beginning. Are you a public school kid?
I did go to public school, but I also went to private school.
Ooh, okay.
So I started my education at a private school in Philadelphia. And then I did my high school career at a public high school in Philadelphia.
Did you know you wanted to be in education from the jump?
I did not. I wanted to be from a very early age, probably 7th or 8th grade. I went to a job fair at my middle school. And I think that is where I got this notion where I wanted to be a computer engineer. And so all throughout the rest of my middle school career and also high school, I also wanted to just focus on computers and learning what happens with the code in the background and all those things. And so that is actually what I went to school for originally. And then I realized, I think I had maybe like 2 years, and then I did an internship, and I realized that I think I had an opportunity to do an internship as a computer engineer, and then I had an opportunity to teach middle school students. And they both happened at the same time, during the same summer.
Okay.
And I was just really able to walk away from both experiences, being able to assess, like, what made me happier, because I firmly believe that you should do those things that make you happy, especially in a career. So I didn't want to go into a career where I was in a room by myself all day, coding and not really talking to people. But then I had this amazing experience with kids where I taught them binary code, all the zeros and the ones, and how to understand what it meant. And so just to see them have the aha moment, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. So I changed my major.
Okay.
To physics education, and my parents, they were supportive. They were like, okay, as long as it's still science, yes, you can go into education, not a problem. You always have a job. You're going to be a physics teacher, so great. So that's how I but all the things, I feel like all of those pieces fit together now in what I do, because I'm working at the Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School, where we do a lot of online work, a lot of things like coding and making websites and making courses. And I'm able to look at the courses. I'm able to look at the code and understand those things. I'm also able to look at science content, which is
your home base.
That's my jam. So I love being able to delve into the sciences and really push students to learn more about the sciences. And now through all of those experiences, I developed my leadership skills as well. So I think all of those things have been poured into the pot, if you will, to make Karla who she is today.
So you finish your bachelor's degree in physics education.
Yes.
And then you're like, I want to teach for sure. What age did you know?
So it was always high school. I always wanted to teach high school.
Did you?
I did. I started my teaching career as a physics teacher in the Philadelphia school system. So I was there for a year. And then I left to become a founding teacher at one of the first charter schools in Philadelphia. When I went to that school, they did not have a high school yet. So they had middle school students. So I taught middle school physical science and biology and things like that. And then when the high school came about, I was able to teach the physics that I love to teach.
Do you feel like at that point you were like, yes, I'm in a classroom, I'm in front of students, this is where I'm meant to be? Or do you feel like you were still asking questions and exploring and saying, maybe this isn't like for my forever job?
So that's interesting because when I started teaching, my very first teaching assignment, I was sent to a school where they didn't need a physics teacher. They already had one. So my first, I would say 2 to 3 months of teaching was not really teaching, but I was supporting the assistant principal. So very early in my teaching career, I was around administrators and I saw how schools work and I saw what the assistant principal was doing, and he would give me tasks to do and I would do those tasks. So I developed an administrative mindset very early in my teaching career. And then when I went to the charter school, I probably like after the first year, I was scheduling substitutes and I was like the teacher liaison to the administration and just doing all of these things because it was just my desire to lead. So I just, naturally dove in to leadership.
You're a founding teacher at a charter school in Philadelphia. And then what's next?
After that, I then began to work I was there for maybe 5-6 years. And I left because then I began to work at the Center for Literacy in their adult education program. And so I was the assistant director there, and I wrote the adult education curriculum for the Center for Literacy. And that program was for adults who wanted to get their high school diploma. So I was taking the state standards and aligning it with activities and tasks that they can actually do that made sense for an adult to do. And I wrote that curriculum for them. So I was there for a little bit of time and I did that. And I was super excited about that. And while I was there, I was also working on a charter school project. They wanted to open a charter school. So I was writing a charter for them, which was really exciting to do. Just community interviews, focus groups, things like that. And as a result of doing that, I think the skills that I learned there helped me when I was doing my dissertation, because I was like coding interviews. I had no idea like this is an actual thing where you like code interviews and you see how many people said this and how many people said that, but I just knew that it had to be done. So when I was working at the Center for Literacy, I had an opportunity to do that, and I sort of learned that skill, and it was transferable over into my doctoral program.
You're teaching literacy to adults, you're writing a charter. Where do you go from there?
So from there, I became the director of operations at another charter school. And I did that for a while. And then I took a break because I had my oldest child. So I stayed home with her for a little bit. And in her 5-year-old voice, she said to me one day, because the plan was I was going to stay home with her until she got to be at least old enough to go to kindergarten. And she was like, "Mom, why are you keeping me from going to school?" And I was like, you know what? You're going to school. So we ended up sending her to school, and I went back to work. So once I went back to work, I went to the school district of Philadelphia.
Wait, but so you're back to teaching,
Yes.
but something tells me you weren't just like, yeah, I'm going to teach this class and we're chilling.
No, I became, probably after my second year, I became the roster chair of the school. And I was also a school-based teacher leader where I was helping coach the science and math teachers. So I was doing those things while I was at my last high school before I came to PALCS. So in 2015, I came to PALCS as the middle school principal.
Okay. And how was that?
That was awesome. The middle school teachers are great. Lots of energy, fun times there.
Was it a shocker? What was it like coming to the virtual school world?
It was maybe October, September, and we had back to school night where the parents are coming to meet the teachers. And I was in my office and I was all dressed up and I said, you know what? They're going to be in Zoom. So in my mind, I forgot that we were a cyber charter and we have parents all over the state. So I think that that was like the biggest change for me because I had always been in a brick and mortar school. And so making the mental shift that we are all over the state was a big thing for me.
Okay, but that night,
yeah, I was ready.
In your formal wear,
Yes.
ready to meet and greet parents.
Meet and greet.
What actually was different about the night?
The teachers, they were all on site. They were in their cubes and they were meeting parents. And we opened up one big Zoom room and we talked to the parents for a little bit. And then they went into their child's classrooms and to see what they were learning. And so I think that that was the biggest thing. But honestly, what happens in a brick and mortar is really the same thing that happened here. It was just done virtually. So I was really excited to see everything that was going on in our school.
Okay, so you're the principal here, you're rocking and rolling, we're doing great things, and then there's a shift and you become our chief academic officer. What was that transition like for you?
It was scary, but I knew I was prepared because, again, all throughout my career from school to my early teaching career, I was training for this time, right? As chief academic officer, I know education. I know people, you know, and so I knew that I could do the job. It was just different. And so it was a period of learning for me how to oversee people who were my colleagues. You know, we were all principals. And so I moved to being their supervisor. So that was a transition, but then also transitioning and, you know, middle school, they're my heart. Transitioning to thinking about all school and not just my middle school folks. So, you know.
You said that was a scary feeling for you.
It was.
I have never seen any hint of a semblance of that feeling on you. So you wear it well.
Thank you.
Courageously, one might say. What is it like for you when you're doing something like that where maybe there is some fear, or is it just anxiety or anticipation? Do you do this over and over and over again? Every new role that you take on, you're constantly leveling up. So what is it for you? Do you just like hold your nose and like walk through, or do you close your eyes, or are you like, okay, let's go, and you're like eyes wide open straight ahead?
No, I believe deep down in my core that I can do all things, right? So it doesn't matter what it is. I believe that I can do it. And so while I may be nervous or concerned, I know that going into any new position, one, never try to make changes or, you know, do a upheaval of things too soon, because you just don't know. You don't have all the answers. You don't have all the pieces yet. And so any new position that I go into, I always approach it from, I'm just learning. Year one, maybe into year two, I'm just learning, right? And then the ideas start to come and I'm like, okay, I can do this. This is what I want to do. This is the vision. And so I think now, even in this role, I am coming in a learning posture. And I think as a leader, that's a good place to be, because you're not coming in like, I have all the answers and I know everything and I have a degree in physics and, no. I need to
casually do.
I need to learn how to do this job, and I need to learn all of the different nuances that come along with it. And so I think being humble and being willing and being teachable, I think has helped me progress throughout my career and has been extremely beneficial for me, no matter what position I move into.
You are a lifelong, perpetual learner on many levels. You didn't take a break and get your master's degree when you were working full time, when you were building your family. You didn't take a break to get your doctorate. You didn't take a break when you had your second child and the pandemic hit, and you are a mom and a partner and a principal, and here we are at a school learning new things, learning how to get through and break through into a new exciting era. So here you are at the precipice of another transition, but at no one point have you ever just been learning on one level. So how is that for you?
I think my approach has always been renaissistic. What we didn't talk about is that when I grew up, I started dancing at the age of 2. So the ballet, the jazz, the tap, all the things. I was in those classes and I trained until I got into high school. And then when I went to college, I danced with the company for my college. And then when I left college, I danced in a company in Philadelphia. And so I feel like, again, I can do the things that I want to do and I'm not stuck in a box. And because of that, I'm able to explore both the artistic side of me and the scientific side of me. And then there is this connection in certain places that I'm able to make with those things. So
you're living in a human multi-universe.
yes, exactly. Oh, let's talk about the multiverse.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak on it because some people get very upset about if you don't know about the different multiverses. So, but I know Marvel, they're doing this whole multiverse thing where you see some characters in one universe that, they look different in another universe. So your connection with the multiverse and my experiences, yes, because I'm able to teach a dance class, but I'm also able to teach a science class. I'm also able to just sit and learn, but I'm also able to lead.
Does your multiverse look different at home when you're not in the office, when you're a mom and a partner?
I don't think it looks different. I think that I have embedded in my children the exact same thing, which is why I can say that my son is doing all the things in sports. He is tapping into those things. He also has this passion for prison reform. So he goes to the state capitol and talks to the senators and everything about that. So like he is duplicitous, if you will, in his approach to his interest. My husband is the same way. My daughter is the same. So it is something that we just do.
This is a family thing.
It is.
This is a family Johnson thing.
It is.
I like that. So do you feel you are similar as a mother as you are a chief, as you are a colleague, as you are a friend?
I think yes. And I think everybody, we have to learn how to be all of those things, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about relationship. It's about making a difference and an impact in not only your life, but the lives of those who are around you. So I think as a parent, yes, I can be a friend, but then I also have to shift and say I'm mom. Yes, you can come and talk to me about whatever you want to talk about. But then I'm also going to transition into, hey, did you do your homework? Like, pull up your dashboard so I can see all the things. But yes, I want to be out there, and for some reason I am now delving into photography and taking video for my son. I feel like his expectations are like I should be at what the NFL produces. And right now I am like not there at all.
Do you have a protective?
No, I have none of those
You
things.
guys are not being. He needs to
I
wear
have
a
none
helmet.
Yes. Well, no, you know what? He's playing flag right now. So they don't, no, one hand touch. I'm sorry. I need to get that right. He's playing one hand touch right now. No helmets. So now I am delving into photography and being able to set up to capture video for him.
That's really cool.
But he like does this thing, like he comes off the field and he's like, all right, let me see the film. Like, I'm like, okay, great game, you know. So the first week I was the photographer. I got some stills and I got one touchdown on video. And he was like,
wait, did he score a touchdown?
Yeah, he did.
He scored a touchdown.
He did. And he was like, oh, but you tried. And I was like, what? Like, I'm out here fighting. Running up and down trying to. So the second week I did it, he got 3 touchdowns. So I got all 3 touchdowns. So, but of course that came with, okay, yes, you got all 3 touchdowns, but next time, this is what I need you to do. Like you need to be zoomed in. You have to be on me only.
You know, like it was constructive feedback this time.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Mm-hmm. So that's, my new passion, I guess.
Mm-hmm. 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 Do you feel like you can relate to the parents of the students that go to PALCS?
I do. Because it is always staying a step ahead. It is always encouraging our students to do their best. It is making sure that they are prepared for life. So I definitely identify with our parents because I know that all of our parents are really trying to do what is best for their child, which is why they're here. So they have chosen the environment that they believe is best for their child. And so I feel like I identify with that for sure.
You've gone from PALCS middle school principal to director of academics to chief academic officer. Yes, LinkedIn, it's different. To now chief executive officer.
Yes.
What's that like?
So again, it is very different from what I was doing before. Now I have to orchestrate all that goes on throughout the entire school.
Okay, maestro.
And not just focus on academics, but now there are so many other departments that I have to be in touch and in tune with and understand what they need and try to do my best to remove barriers for all of those different departments and not just academics.
Okay, but I did hear in another Multiverse that you were a director of operations at some point. So this is not wholly new to you stepping outside of academics.
It's not, but I've never been CEO before.
Okay, hi.
So I've never been CEO before. So while I was over the director of operations, I was over all things school. So if the heater broke down, I had to get it fixed. If there were issues with our elevator, that was on me. Scheduling and making sure people showed up for work if I had to come up with a substitute option, working with the accountant. So like all of those things, again, like I feel like all of the experiences that I've had throughout my career have really given me a great background to be able to do this job. I feel like in life, you should set goals, which I definitely have. But I think when I set goals for myself, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work towards this particular goal. And when I get there, I'm like, oh, okay, what's next? You know, and I can do more and more and more. And so I just see that for myself and for my students. I try to give that same energy and passion and advice to them, to find something that you love to do and do that thing, because that is where you will probably make the most impact in life, doing the things that you really love to do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what are you excited stepping into this role now as Chief Executive Officer to see for PALCS? What is PALCS? Some of your ideas about PALCS next goals, because you're constantly setting goals and constantly reaching them and then setting another one and moving forward. What are some goals you have for PALCS?
I want PALCS to continue to be the strong organization that it is, the strong community that we are. We've had some great leaders of the organization in the past, and I definitely want to continue along with some of those great traditions that we've had. But I also believe that we are in or approaching a new time where AI is becoming a big part of our lives. And so what does that look like in education? I want more people to know about what we do and who we are and how we do it. I want our students to really go out in this world and be leaders. So those are the things that I will be working towards, to make sure that all of this is to make sure that our students go out into this world and they make an impact, and they are able to lead, and they are able to be prepared for what is next, whatever what's next is. I just want them to be ready.
Are you good at celebrating goals?
So as the Chief Academic Officer, we went through a training, and it was about the STEEL standards, and the STEEL standards are the new science standards that the Pennsylvania Department of Education has implemented. And one of the things that they said was that you need to celebrate the small wins. And I don't think that I am really good at celebrating the small wins. Mm-hmm. And from that training, it really put it in the forefront of my mind, like, hey, even the small wins need to be celebrated. And so I've done a lot more work around trying to celebrate our small wins, our small celebrations, our small, like even if we meet a goal, it's not the big goal, but we meet a goal that we're trying to get to the big goal, we're celebrating. Mm-hmm. We're going to acknowledge, and celebration doesn't always have to be the balloons and the confetti, but it does have to be an acknowledgement of, hey, you did a wonderful job moving the chains, if you will, moving the bar. And that was football, by the way.
Oh, hey. Sports.
So you did a good job at moving towards the goal.
Would you rather look into your future or change your past?
No, I would not want to change my past. So definitely peering into my future would be something I would be interested in. But changing my past, I would. Like the things that I've done in my past have made Karla who she is today. And I think I'm pretty,
Awesome.
Awesome.
I would also not change the past, but I feel like I would freak out about peering into the future.
I believe that we are going to be exactly where we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be. So I would not be worried about what the future brings.
Speak any language or understand animals?
I've always had animals. So, of course, I took languages in high school and in college, but none of them quite stuck with me. But they say math is a language. Mm-hmm. So use a lot of math and physics. So I don't know.
Pineapple on pizza or no fruit on pizza?
No fruit on pizza.
Do you
Pizza should
like
just
pizza?
Pizza should just be cheese.
Ever only?
Only.
What
yes.
about white sauce pizza? What is
It's like
the white pizza?
white sauce pizza is like a garlic, like it has a garlic undertone to it. No.
It's not pizza. Okay.
So.
Thick or thin?
I mean, I can go either way.
Okay. Do you dip?
No.
Never? Not even the crust?
No.
Garlic butter?
No.
Marinara sauce?
No, and definitely not, what is it, ranch? Like,
Ranch?
My kids are like in the dipping ranch, like, no.
Okay. Movies with subtitles or without?
Either. It doesn't bother, like either way, it doesn't bother me. My son, we always laugh about this, and I always say like, oh gosh, what is the name of the movie? It is a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
So we were like going back and forth with like books and everything. And we were like, Josh, you really have to read more. And so he was really into that series.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's it. No more sound, all subtitles. And so he would read the subtitles of the show, which was good. And then in some ways it was not good because like his vocabulary like was off the chart, because like some of the, like they would have like, this word means that, like Lemony Snicket would be like, this word is this. And
Control fire or water with your mind?
oh, so this is a good one, because my son and I were talking about this earlier this month. What superpower would you want, and what would you use it for? But we sort of like deduce, like, I don't know, like what would you use like, I don't know, superhero movies have like destroyed it, because now like every superhero, like they're like using their superpowers for not too good. So I don't know. Let me see. I would control water, because water can be in different states.
I knew
it could
this
be a
was gonna go
solid,
physics.
a liquid, or a gas, which would give me more options. So
Also, aren't we made out of water?
yes, we are. Good one.
Okay, but what was your answer to your son about any superpower? This is the last question. In fact, I'm closing.
I mean, you could do a whole dissertation on that one. I mean, we go back and forth about what superpowers we might want. So,
Okay, today, as the new Chief Executive Officer of PALCS.
I think the superpower that I would want would be to have supersonic ears, to be a good listener, to be intuitive, and to be able to peer into the future to see where we're going. Yeah.
I knew it was going to get real nerdy.
I wanted to be the CEO because throughout my education, throughout my teaching career, I've always wanted to remove any type of barrier that was going to exist that prevented students from getting what it was that they needed. And as a teacher, I was able to do that by removing the barrier of, oh my goodness, I'm taking this physics course. I'm not going to do well. I'm not good at science. I'm not good at math. Okay, well, we're going to work through that. I'm going to give you all the tools that you need, and we're going to make sure you're successful. As a instructional coach, seeing teachers struggle, seeing teachers not necessarily have good classroom management skills and being able to provide what they needed, giving them some activities and skills that they could take and use throughout their teaching career. I think that was me helping them remove the barrier of whatever the issue was in their class at the time. As a principal, same thing, being able to look at our teachers and say, okay, what is it that you need and how can I make this happen for you? For our students, many of the middle school activities that and the clubs that we have right now came as a result of students coming and saying, hey, I am interested in culinary arts. Okay, well, what do I have to do to make sure that you can have a culinary arts club, an advisor to be able to do it, the budget to be able to do it? So I think throughout my career, it has been me removing barriers so that teachers can do the work and so that students can have the best learning experience. And I think as CEO, I am able to do all of those things, continue to do all of those things on a larger scale.